very difficult for a girl to become a truck driver and even harder to get the first job with no experience.
With 15 years behind the wheel, Iwona Blecharczyk is a trailblazer, handling everything from wind turbine blades to off-road B train rigs, tipping the scales at 63 tons.
I want to travel the world. I love big machines. I was in love with American trucks.
But her story isn't just about power and precision. Behind the cameras and viral content, Iwona navigates the unique challenges of being the first Polish woman to conquer the ice roads, balancing extreme work, public attention, and the highs and lows of a life spent constantly on the move. In this video, we'll be looking into the adventure, resilience, and the unfiltered reality of life on the edge. Come along. The road that started it all. Before becoming known for driving across some of the most extreme and demanding roads in the world, Iwona Blecharczyk lived a life that looked ordinary and predictable on the surface, a life that gave no clear hint of the path that would later define her name. Born in the small village of Kostowa, in the subcarpathian region of Poland, early years were shaped by school, family expectations, and steady routines rather than engines, highways, or long nights behind the wheel. Many might ask how someone raised far from the trucking world could end up choosing such a demanding and unusual career, especially in a field so often dominated by men. At first, life followed a very different direction. In 2007, Iwona took part in the Miss Polonia beauty contest and reached the finals of Miss Polonia of Podkarpacia in Milek, an experience rooted in elegance, presentation, and public appearances rather than physical endurance or mechanical skill. Around the same period, focus remained strongly on education. University studies continued with discipline and purpose, leading to graduation in 2010 with qualifications to teach English as a foreign language. At that time, everything pointed toward a stable and respected profession in education, something that family members strongly supported. Work soon began in schools near the hometown, following what many would consider a sensible and safe career choice. Yet daily life in the classroom brought an unexpected reality. Teaching came with constant noise, pressure, and emotional drain, leaving little space to breathe or recharge. Reflections shared later described those days as deeply exhausting, filled with stress that never seemed to end. A quiet question began to surface again and again. Was this really how life was meant to feel every single day? That question started small, almost easy to ignore, but over time, it grew louder, echoing through long hours and quiet moments alike. For Iwona Blecharczyk, known to millions as the fearless IB trucking girl, evenings didn't end with satisfaction or pride. They ended in exhaustion, fatigue that weighed heavier than any cargo she hauled across frozen highways. Behind the camera, behind the YouTube views and the adventurous vlogs, was a life of relentless work, isolation, and sacrifices that few could imagine. And yet, the story doesn't end there. What you're about to discover goes far beyond trucking tips or adrenaline-fueled deliveries. It's about resilience, heartbreak, and the human cost of chasing a dream on wheels. Watch closely and stay with me until the very end, because every detail reveals a truth you won't forget. Long before any official step into trucking, signs of restlessness already existed. During university years, weekends were sometimes spent driving a minibus filled with Polish seasonal workers traveling to England. Those long drives introduced a different rhythm of life, one shaped by roads stretching far ahead, silence broken only by engines, and a sense of movement that felt freeing. Even if that experience did not yet involve massive trucks or international routes, it planted a seed. After stepping away from teaching, a short period followed in the clothing industry, another attempt to find a place that felt right. Still, something seemed missing. Beneath all of this, a fascination with trucks had existed since childhood. A quiet interest that never fully disappeared. Memories from early years included watching large vehicles pass by and feeling drawn to their size, power, and presence. Yet dreams like that often stay buried when family expectations pull in a different direction. Parents worked as teachers and valued education deeply, so the idea of leaving a degree behind for trucking felt almost unthinkable. A powerful turning point arrived during university through a course on American culture. Stories of freedom, independence, and legendary truckers crossing endless highways sparked something deep inside. That image of life on the road represented choice, movement, and control. Everything that felt missing in earlier work. A simple but heavy question followed. Could that same feeling exist on European roads? Deciding to pursue trucking in 2011 did not come easily. Family reaction was filled with shock and fear. Years of study appeared wasted in the eyes of loved ones, and concern grew around safety, reputation, and long-term stability. Even the trucking industry itself did not open its doors right away. Hundreds of job applications were sent out, and rejection after rejection followed for nearly 6 months. Persistence became the only option. Each refusal tested resolve, and doubt crept in often. Was this dream unrealistic? Was it foolish to keep pushing forward? Still, the idea of returning to a life that felt wrong carried even more weight than rejection letters. Eventually, a Belgian-Polish transport company offered an interview. The initial proposal focused on office work, which might have been an easier and more accepted path, but determination pushed back firmly. A request was made for a chance to drive instead. After discussion, the company agreed to a 4-week trial period with a male driver accompanying the route. That decision marked the true beginning. Once behind the wheel, clarity arrived quickly. The road felt right. The sense of control, solitude, and movement confirmed what years of searching could not. From that moment onward, in 2011, there was no turning back. Life, which once felt risky, uncertain, and fragile, suddenly became something entirely different. A purpose that demanded every ounce of focus, courage, and resilience. Each day brought challenges that most people would shy away from. Yet, those very challenges became the heartbeat of a life lived fully, where fear was not an obstacle, but a compass pointing toward growth. The roads traveled were extreme in every sense: frozen highways, narrow mountain passes, and stretches where one wrong move could mean disaster. But it was on these roads that the lessons of persistence, patience, and grit were learned. And it wasn't just about surviving, it was about thriving, about finding a sense of belonging in a world that had once felt too vast and unpredictable. Every turn, every risk, every decision shaped a story that demanded attention. And by the time the day ended, there was a quiet pride in knowing that purpose had been forged in the fires of challenge. This is why you need to stay glued till the very end. The journey we're about to explore isn't just about danger or adrenaline, it's about transformation, about what it truly means to embrace life's extreme roads and the extreme risks they demand. Watch closely, because what comes next will reveal the full story of how a life once uncertain became one of unwavering purpose. Extreme roads, extreme risks. After mastering regular trucking routes and building confidence on familiar roads, Iwona Blecharczyk reached a point where routine no longer felt satisfying and a deeper hunger for challenge began to grow. That hunger pushed Iwona toward conditions that tested skill, patience, courage, and endurance all at once. According to shared accounts, the search for limits led straight into some of the harshest driving environments found anywhere on Earth. One of the most striking moments came in 2017, when Iwona became the first Polish woman to drive on the famous Canadian ice roads. These routes were not normal roads by any standard. These paths formed directly on frozen lakes and existed only for a short season, yet served as lifelines that delivered fuel, food, and heavy supplies to isolated diamond mines far from any city. Many would ask why anyone would choose to drive on ice instead of solid ground. The answer, as described, lay in the thrill of precision and trust in skill. Temperatures regularly dropped to -40 degrees Celsius, and wind chill made conditions feel closer to -70. Iwona explained that specialized boots rated for -100 degrees were necessary just to stand outside for a few minutes. Each journey unfolded under dark skies lit by the aurora borealis, turning isolation into a strange mix of beauty and danger. Silence surrounded the truck for miles, broken only by engine sound and the cracking ice beneath heavy wheels. One wrong move could mean disaster, so every turn demanded full focus. How many drivers could stay calm, knowing a frozen lake lay directly beneath many tons of steel? Before that icy chapter, another turning point appeared around 2016, when oversized transport became the true calling. This work required a completely different level of control and awareness. Instead of speed or distance, the focus shifted to balance, planning, and teamwork. Iwona began hauling massive wind turbine blades across Europe, each stretching close to 66 meters in length. Roads never felt designed for cargo of that size. Every roundabout, narrow bridge, and tight village street became a calculated puzzle. Precision mattered more than strength. Technical understanding of angles, weight distribution, and timing became essential. According to descriptions, extendable trailers could stretch an extra 17 meters just to fit the load. Fully loaded trucks could reach weights of up to 120 tons. Such numbers sounded unreal to many people, raising an obvious question. How could public roads handle machines of that size? The answer came through careful route planning, escort vehicles, and slow, deliberate movement. Over time, this work expanded to include military equipment and large energy components, placing enormous trust in Iwona's abilities. Pride came not from speed, but from control and responsibility. Another demanding chapter unfolded in oil fields, where driving conditions shifted yet again. This environment required handling off-road B train rigs with permissible gross weights reaching 63 tons. The roads in these areas were described as greasy, unstable, and unpredictable. Unlike paved highways, surfaces changed daily, depending on weather and heavy use. Chains had to be secured to tires every single day to maintain traction. Iwona explained that chaining became a daily ritual and eventually second nature. This skill, rarely needed during earlier years in Europe, became essential for survival. The process required speed, strength, and precision, often in freezing wind and mud. Mistakes could mean sliding off unstable paths or losing control on narrow routes. A natural question surfaced in many minds. What kind of calm allowed such conditions to feel manageable? The answer pointed to experience built step by step over many years. Isolation formed another defining part of these journeys. Days passed without human contact beyond radio signals. Long hours behind the wheel created space for thought, discipline, and self-reliance. According to shared reflections, This isolation felt both challenging and deeply fulfilling. Silence offered focus, while responsibility sharpened awareness. Each successful delivery confirmed strength built through effort rather than comfort. Happiness came not from ease, but from overcoming conditions that few would willingly face. The career path described resilience, shaped by cold nights, heavy loads, narrow roads, and endless concentration. Each challenge added another layer of confidence. Each risk managed successfully reinforced trust in skill. Looking at the full picture, one question lingered above all others. What truly drives someone to choose danger, solitude, and responsibility again and again, day after day, when most of us would turn away at the first sign of risk? On the surface, the answer might seem simple. A love for pushing limits, a fascination with mastering complex machines, and a relentless drive to find meaning where difficulty meets determination. But there's far more beneath the surface. For every daring maneuver, every moment of precision under pressure, there's a hidden cost that the public rarely sees. Behind the camera, behind the headlines, lies exhaustion, isolation, and a quiet struggle to balance ambition with humanity. It's easy to admire someone's courage and skill from afar, but the life they lead carries sacrifices that few understand. Every decision, every high-stakes choice comes with consequences, some thrilling, some deeply personal. And it's in those unseen moments that the real story unfolds. This is where we start to uncover the hidden cost of a public life, the weight carried behind the fame, respect, and adrenaline. Stick with me all the way to the very end, because the deeper we go, the more you'll realize that what appears exciting and glamorous on the surface is only part of the story. The truth is far more human, far more revealing, and far more unforgettable than you might imagine. The hidden cost of a public life. Behind a calm smile and millions of views, a different reality slowly comes into focus as details about Iwona Blecharczyk's life are shared, revealing a side that rarely appears on screen. Publicly, the image reflects confidence, freedom, strength, and constant motion, built across more than 1 million YouTube subscribers and over 1,200 videos uploaded since 2013. This digital presence presents endless roads, powerful machines, and bold independence. Yet officials, interviews, and personal reflections have revealed that this visibility carries quiet costs that rarely make it into highlight clips. Many people might ask what truly happens once the camera shuts off and the road stretches on into the night. Accounts shared by Iwona explain that life behind the camera often feels far more isolated than adventurous. In late-night recordings, exhaustion sometimes appears not just in the eyes, but in the pauses between words. Iwona has openly admitted that long stretches away from family and friends can create a deep sense of isolation, especially when miles separate familiar faces and meaningful conversations. This loneliness grows stronger due to the reality that women make up only about 3% of truck drivers in Europe, which means companionship on the road remains rare and often brief. In such an environment, lasting bonds rarely have time to form before routes change again, and this reality quietly follows every journey. The challenge does not end with loneliness, as balancing personal life with constant travel remains an ongoing struggle. Iwona has explained that no perfect formula exists for work-life balance, and that learning to slow down has never come easily. Attempts to divide time evenly between driving and staying home have been described as intentional but difficult, especially when the natural instinct pushes toward endless work. The road always calls, and the next destination always waits. Even small moments shared online have hinted at this inner tension. Posts about loving winter but disliking the lack of daylight reveal more than seasonal preference. Such comments quietly reflect emotional fatigue, limited rest, and the weight of long, dark hours spent alone in a cabin. Many people might wonder how constant motion affects the mind over time. Statements from Iwona suggest that stress within the transport industry adds another heavy layer. Ongoing economic uncertainty has created a tense environment across the industry, with pressure lingering far longer than expected. This prolonged stress has been described as mentally draining, sometimes so overwhelming that even basic routines like exercise feel impossible. When uncertainty stretches endlessly forward, motivation can quietly disappear. Despite these challenges, fame and visibility have continued to grow. What began as a simple camera placed inside a truck cabin gradually transformed an entire life. On June 16, 2013, the YouTube channel Trucking Girl launched with bilingual content shared in both Polish and English. Early videos focused on everyday life on the road, long drives, border crossings, and honest moments behind the wheel. Over time, the channel expanded into a global platform, drawing viewers from different countries who connected with the authenticity and dedication shown on screen. Growth followed steadily, leading to more than 1 million subscribers and a massive video library documenting years of travel. Social media presence expanded far beyond YouTube, reaching hundreds of thousands on Instagram, millions on TikTok, and close to 1 million likes on Facebook. This visibility attracted partnerships with major brands such as Volvo, TomTom, and Goldhofer, placing Iwona at the center of both trucking culture and influencer space. With success came new pressure. Beyond driving responsibilities, constant content creation became part of daily life. Recording, editing, posting, responding, and maintaining engagement across multiple platforms created an ongoing demand for attention and consistency. In 2020, this public role expanded further through the release of an autobiography and a starring role in a Discovery Channel series focused on trucking adventures. Each opportunity added visibility, but also added expectation. Maintaining a public image while managing a physically demanding job created a fragile balance that required constant effort. Many might ask how authenticity survives under such pressure. Accounts suggest that commitment to personal values has remained central throughout the journey. A strong focus on improving the image of professional truck drivers and revitalizing trucking culture has guided decisions and projects. Advocacy for women in transportation has remained a core mission, reflected in public talks, interviews, and appearances. Recognition followed these efforts. In 2019, Mattel awarded the Barbie Shiro title, highlighting Iwona as a positive role model breaking stereotypes within a male-dominated industry. A TEDx talk delivered earlier focused on shifting perceptions and encouraging women to pursue paths traditionally closed off by outdated expectations. Throughout changing platforms, expanding fame, and increasing demands, one message has remained constant. The slogan, "Born to be myself," has continued to define the brand, the work, and the personal philosophy shared across years of content. Beneath the polished videos and global recognition lies a life shaped by solitude, discipline, pressure, and purpose, reminding audiences that strength on screen often hides quieter battles beyond the frame. With this, we have come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do well to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. To enjoy more thrilling stories, click now on the following video that pops up on your screen.